room, let's collide. Streaming hot takes, combat in overdrive. Chairs flying, bodies on the ground. Review last night's show, no holds unbound. Smell the sweat, hear the roar, feel the pain. Tagging folks in, dialogue insane. Matt's on the mat, Vince's vendetta. Analyze the best moves, no meta. Friday night fights, Grun's room delight. Hit the play button, commentary tight. Top rope leap, slams in sight. Podcast reverberates, break into night. Heel turns crazy, face gains momentum. Captured every moment, endless venom. New champs, shock the crowd. Replay, breakdown, critics stand proud. Raw emotions, no disqualifications. Table smashes, fierce altercations. Belt changes hands, crowd erupts. We dissect each drop kick, no one interrupts. Friday night fights, Grun's room delight. Hit the play button, commentary tight. Top rope leap, slams in sight. Podcast reverberates, break into night. Raw emotions, no disqualifications. Table smashes, fierce altercations. Belt changes hands, crowd erupts. We dissect each drop kick, no one interrupts. Friday night fights, Grun's room delight. Hit the play button, commentary tight. Top rope leap, slams in sight. Podcast reverberates, break into night. Microphone blazing, Grun's room, let's collide. Streaming hot takes, combat in overdrive. Yeah, chairs flying, bodies on the ground. Review last night's show, no holds unbound. No holds unbound. Smell the sweat, hear the roar, feel the pain. Tagging folks in, dialogue insane. Matt's on the mat, Vince's vendetta. Analyze the best moves, no meta. Friday night fights, Grun's room delight. Hit the play button, commentary tight. Top rope leap, slams in sight. Podcast reverberates, break into night. Heel turns crazy, face gains momentum. Captured every moment, endless venom. New champs, shock the crowd. Replay, breakdown, critics stand proud. Raw emotions, no disqualifications. Table smashes, fierce altercation. Belt changes hands, crowd erupts. We dissect each drop kick, no one interrupts. Microphone blazing, Grun's room, let's collide. Streaming hot takes, combat in overdrive. Yeah, chairs flying, bodies on the ground. Review last night's show, no holds unbound. No holds unbound. Got it.
Taking over once. You can't really, you know, I'm with the right.
Microphone blazing, Grun's room, let's collide. Streaming hot takes, combat in overdrive. Chairs flying, bodies on the ground. Review last night's show, no holds unbound. Smell the sweat, hear the roar, feel the pain. Tagging folks in, dialogue insane. Matt's on the mat, Vince's vendetta. Analyze the best moves, no meta. Friday night fights, Grun's room delight. Hit the play button, commentary tight. Top rope leap, slams in sight. Podcast reverberates, break into night. Heel turns crazy, face gains momentum. Captured every moment, endless venom. New champs, shock the crowd. Replay, breakdown, critics stand proud. Raw emotions, no disqualifications. Table smashes, fierce altercations. Belt changes hands, crowd erupts. We dissect each drop kick, no one interrupts. Friday night fights, Grun's room delight. Hit the play Terry tight, top rope leap, slams in sight. Podcast reverberates, breaking tonight.
What is going on? It is the Grunmeister. It is a Thursday night instead that we are going live for Grun's Room. Have plans tomorrow night, so wouldn't be able to do it tomorrow night, but I can do it tonight, especially since WWE have announced stuff for tomorrow night Smackdown. We got Dr. Kill 52 in the chat on Twitch. What is up, Kill? Great to see you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for showing your support. I greatly appreciate it, brother. Guys, be sure to check out all of the In Your House Wrestling podcast content that we got putting out. We got the Monday Night Raw review with the voice Joshua Joseph, myself, the Blue-Eyed Villain, and the Chaos Goblin, Kevin Calloway. You got on Tuesdays, you have... Wait, do we have... On Tuesdays, we now have the Tuesday night house party, or sometimes the house hot tag, the IYH hot tag, hosted by Alec on the Concept House. We're trying to get our schedules to line up that way so we can do the Tuesday night house party that we've been missing. We love it. We love doing the house party. You guys should absolutely show up Tuesday nights around 5 p.m., 6 p.m. EST. Yeah, for the Tuesday night house party. Look for IYH In Your House Wrestling Podcast on all social media platforms. You will find us. Just be sure to spell house with a W, because the W stands for work. And what else stands for work is the great work that the women are putting in pro wrestling, which is why you got to listen to Bouquet of Flowers, hosted by Alec on the Concept House, co-hosted by Divinely Designed into Annie O'Neill on Wednesdays and Thursdays. Normally are the ECW watch along that you guys got to check out. I might be imputing on their time right now, and I'm terribly sorry if you guys are listening to them live. You know what? Go listen to them. You can always listen to me later. Greatly appreciate ECW watch along, hosted by the voice Joshua Joseph, who is on Thursday nights is the educator of Extreme, co-hosted by Alec on the Concept House. They go over everything old school ECW, original traditional ECW, led by Paul Heyman, where they were barely making any money in Philadelphia. Yeah, they go over a specific ECW star, and they'll go over probably multiple times, or even go over an entire show. Oh, and because Joshua Joseph just loves ECW and everything it stood for. And then normally on Friday nights, you can catch my show, Grun's Room at 7 p.m. Eastern. And now, I think that's everything. We're caught up. Now, let's get into some Smackdown from last week, which had a bit of a controversial ending. And obviously the internet, you know how the internet is. Everybody has an opinion, so everybody thinks they're right, and they think everyone else is wrong, rather. So last week we had Paul Heyman open up the show, teasing the fans about what he's going to talk about. Cody Rhodes comes out, says he wants to talk about Brock Lesnar and why he looks like a guy that's not here for a one-off. Now, Paul Heyman didn't answer that question. Cody Rhodes did ask Paul Heyman, what are you up to? Because he knows Paul Heyman. We all know Paul Heyman has always got a plan A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Except P, because he likes his name, Paul. While Paul Heyman had good news for Cody, and that was Brock Lesnar was not in the building tonight. However, there was bad news. because Cody Rhodes is still in danger from Big Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Now, these two have been now. Bronson Reed has had a bit of a roller coaster in WWE, but since he attacked Seth Rollins, I don't know, 6 months ago, and hit him with like 6, 7 tsunamis, he's Bronson Reed has been on a completely different path. He's been on a better path, and definitely taking steps towards potentially being a main eventer. Braun Breaker, it's like, what can you say about Braun Breaker? The second he got his footing in NXT, the guy is not stopping. He's on everything he does. It is great. It is good. It is showing you that he is progressing. It is showing you that he's learning. It is showing you that he has what it takes to be a main eventer. And Cody says, probably not a smart idea, but I'm going to fight both of you right here and now. And just as Braun Breaker is about to hit or line up Cody Rhodes for the spear, Randy Orton comes out to save the day. Yeah, and this actually would cause a question. What happens the next time these four are in the ring together? I wonder. Will it be a tag team match? And maybe it will, maybe it wasn't. Maybe you already saw on social media that Smackdown announced that there's going to be a tag team match tomorrow night. Speaking of tag team matches, we did have the Street Profits taking on Mellow Don't Miz, and this was a really good tag team match. Street Profits are always on point. Miz works great with anybody. He knows his role, and his role is to make everybody else look good, and Miz does exactly that. He is fantastic. Unfortunately, Miz also has an ego, and so while Mello had done everything in his power to get his team the advantage, he hit Montez with the first 48. Montez kicked out, so Mello was setting up for anything but nothing but net. And Miz once again tagged himself in when it was not necessary. Now maybe you're thinking, well, now hold on. Maybe Miz was telling him, hey, hit the nothing but net. I'll hit him with the skull crushing finale. No, Miz tagged himself in and then was immediately entering the ring as if he was going to already go for the pin or hit the skull crushing finale. Yeah, Mello was not going to take it. Mello grabbed Miz because he's sick and tired of this. Montez pushes Miz away against the ropes, which causes Hayes to lose his balance on top rope. And Montez and Angelo, they do their thing. Big double arm choke slam to Miz. Montez hits a big, amazing frog splash. Unfortunately, Mello was not able to break up the pin because Mello didn't want to. Mello saw this as his chance to finally get Miz to start acting like his manager and not his teammate. Mello knows Miz is valuable, but Mello doesn't want to be a tag team wrestler anymore. And he's not going to be a tag team wrestler with a guy who's looking to hog all the glory. Up next, we had a women's tag team match where Julia, the women's United States champion, teamed up with her manager, Kiana James, to take on the team of Michin and B-Fab. And once again, this is a good tag team match from the women overall. But of course, the story is that Julia is unstoppable. So Kiana James hits, I believe it was Michin. Yep. With the, can I get the name, please? Nope. All right. Ariva Dirci, I believe. But instead of going for the pin, Julia picked her up for a Northern Lights bomb. A little overkill, but okay. I mean, the fact is, Julia is cementing herself as an up and coming top woman in this division. Uh, who was it? There was a segment then backstage where with the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, they were watching the women's tag team match, and then who walks into the frame? NXT Women's Tag Team, and I believe at the time was no longer Women's Speed Champion, but still NXT Women's North American Champion, Sol Ruka, and her best friend in the whole wide world, Zarya. Zaruka. Uh, they want the women's tag team titles, and they want to bring them back to NXT. Definitely, like I am not opposed to putting the women's tag team titles on these two. I am also not opposed to. Do they split? Do they? I don't know. I'm thinking. I'm wondering. Sol Ruka will probably get called up in the next year or two. But does Zarya get called up with her? That is going to be a big question. And or do they do something different, which might have some legs, it might have some meat on the bone for this story, where Solruk and Zarya are still a tag team and become the women's tag team champions, while Zarya is still in NXT. Yeah, that could. There might be something there, but it would have to make sense with everything else going on. I don't think WWE wants to split up Solruk and Zarya. They've got a very unique chemistry that really makes them work well together. Whether there's money in them as a tag team, kind of like how uh, everyone was expecting Nathan Frazier to turn on Axiom, but no, they're just Nathan Frazier and Axiom. They're just an odd fellows tag team that it just works somehow. They're great. They're great together, and like we've all just kind of all just kind of accepted that. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, we like them together. I mean, it would have been cool if you didn't split them, but you know what? We're not going to complain. They're a good tag team. We like them together. uh, who doesn't work well with anybody is Drew McIntyre, as he came out to complain, saying the referee was on the take and everyone in WWE is on the take. Everyone works for Cody Rhodes. Yada yada yada. Nick Aldis comes out mainly because Drew McIntyre is wearing a boot, a medical boot, and Nick Aldis has no idea why he's wearing a medical boot because Drew wasn't examined by WWE doctors. Drew got examined by his own doctors. Now, Drew clearly has trust issues and does not trust that WWE is looking out for him, which is unfortunate, Drew. I do not believe you are correct. I do believe WWE is looking out for your best interest, and you need to accept that. And really, Drew, you really shouldn't have come out because you drew the ire of the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu. And now we're gonna get a feud with Jacob and Sheamus. I like it. It's gonna be hard hitting. It is going to allow both these men to do what they do best, and that is hit hard. Cannot wait. They did another video segment for Solo Sokoa and his family tree, and still no longer invested in the family tree or Solo Sokoa. The reason why is because they literally took the U.S. title off of him and put it on Sammy because Sami Zayn is the reason. Sami Zayn, you know what? That's what it is. Sami Zayn cannot stand the fact that this newcomer, this guy who, granted, has a criminal record, this guy who to many people might think, hey, you got a criminal record for, I think it was armed robbery. Like, you don't deserve a second chance. So WWE said, oh, well, we'll help you out, but you got to prove yourself. You got to show that you're not going to do anything that's stupid ever again. And that's what Jacob has done his entire life since then. Prove that he is worthy of a second chance. And he has become he just has melted into WWE so easily. This is his home. He knows exactly where he is. He knows where he belongs. Sami Zayn, you force yourself into situations. No, Sammy. You are not the hero here. You will never be the hero here, especially after even like you. Okay, I'll give you this. We didn't know who your opponent was, but my bet is that you did know. You did know that it was going to be Javon Evans because my guess is that you spoke to Nick Aldis, said, "Look, I'm glad that to give title opportunities to everyone here on SmackDown, but what if you picked somebody from NXT? I mean, I'm not telling you who to pick. Heck, I would never do that. I would never tell you, the general manager, what to do. But I mean, Javon Evans is a really cool wrestler down in NXT. Maybe you want to bring him up for an opportunity. Nick Aldis, being the stupid little DGM who doesn't see the 4D chess that Sami Zayn is playing with us, says, you know what? I'll think about it. And he calls up Ava, says, Ava, I want to use Javon Evans for the United States Open Challenge next week on SmackDown. Now, Ava says, yeah, sure, go ahead, do it. But Javon Evans almost wins, but doesn't, because Sami Zayn doesn't use the Haluva kick as finisher anymore. Now it's the Blue Thunder Bomb. Man. Oh, Sammy. Sammy, I cannot wait to see someone rip that title off of your lifeless corpse. Sammy is a heel, guys. You guys gotta know this by this point. Sami Zayn is nothing more than a heel. He is a heel in sheep's clothing. Do not trust him. Do not believe him. Up next, we had our main event match. Tiffany Stratton defending her women's championship. Actually, hold on. There was another thing I wanted to talk about before we get to that. And that segment was between Damian Priest, Aleister Black, and Kate Wilson. Kate Wilson is now he's keeping himself busy. I guess he came up with this idea, thought it'd be something cool to do. It's entertaining. It is. Kit Wilson is calling Damian Priest toxic and saying the entire SmackDown and WWE locker room is filled with toxic men, toxic masculinity. It's like, dude, what? What? Like, by your definition, Kit Wilson, every masculine man in WWE is toxic. But here's the problem: in a profession like pro wrestling, like, you kind of do, if you guys, you kind of do have to be masculine. I mean, even ladies have to be a little bit masculine. They got to be tough. They got to have these sometimes a hole-ish personalities, attitudes, to try and get themselves over, try and get attention, to get reactions from the crowd. Sometimes they have to delve into their toxic side just a little bit. I'm not saying treat everyone like horribly, but like Kit, why are you picking a fight with somebody that you know you can't beat? Because you think you're on the right side of history. Oh, Kit, no, Kit. Well, Kit, you tripped up on your own wheelchair. And Damien Priest had the great line, "Bitches be tripping, dog." Right? It's great. Unfortunately, Aleister Black was right behind him as Damien was looking for Aleister. No, Aleister said, "Looking for me, Damien?" And as soon as Damien turns around, Aleister hits Black Mass. This tells Damien, alluding to a match they're probably going to have, is that neither of them will stop until they're the last man standing. And then Aleister said, "Oh, I'm sorry. How rude of me. Happy birthday, Damien." I think last Friday was his birthday, or it was either last Friday or sometime that week was his birthday. I saw that online somewhere. I didn't pay attention because, like, hey, it's his birthday. He's a year older. Good for him. He's in his early 40s, early to mid 40s, close to mid 40s, I think. And you know what? He's still doing professional wrestling. It took him longer to get to WWE than most, but you know what? He got there eventually, and he's been having a pretty good run. So, I don't know what's to complain about. Good on you, man. AJ Styles is about to retire. He's almost 50. All right, you got to be in WWE at the same time as AJ Styles, and you got to be in there when AJ Styles is getting ready for him to retire. He's not going to go on a retirement tour. Because you wouldn't be able to really give it the love that it needs for an AJ Styles retirement tour. What you would need for an AJ Styles retirement tour is Christopher Daniels for number one, Samoa Joe number two. You would need James Storm, Low-Key, Austin Aries, Tom Co. Who else? Who else would you need? You would need Jeff Jarrett. Oh God, who else? Some people are probably thinking, "Oh, yo, Bobby Roode, James Storms." Like maybe, I wouldn't be opposed to that, but like I don't remember the three of them really having much history between the three of them. Like obviously backstage and in the locker room, they probably have a much closer relationship than was on TV. But storyline wise, like not much. Not much, but again, I wouldn't be opposed to it. James Storm, Bobby Roode were still great wrestlers and integral parts to TNA, just like AJ Styles. And we can't stay Sting because Sting should not even be wrestling. He's being forced to wrestle. I think he's still wrestling because Tony Khan won't let him retire unless, of course, I have that completely wrong. And Sting was allowed to finally retire when he did supposedly retire. Hopefully, he did. Sting, God, man, you're 60. Okay, don't be Ric Flair. All right, look, everyone wants to be Ric Flair up until the moment that he officially retired or thought he did back in WWE when Shawn Michaels ended his career at WrestleMania. I see that Robert Hall over on Twitch is trying to use the blurps to get my attention. Unfortunately, Robert, the blurps do not work when I'm using EV Mux. However, do not worry. I'm still here. I still see you. How you doing, Robert? Thank you for tuning in. Greatly appreciated, brother. Now let's get back to the main event of last week's SmackDown, which was Tiffany Stratton defending her WWE Women's Championship against Jade Cargill and Nia Jax in a triple threat match. Now, overall, like, this match would have been a solid, very good main event if it were not for the finish of the match. And there really is no real telling what was supposed to happen or how or who screwed up. All you can have is opinions. Um, Tiffany Stratton had just, or no, Jade Daphne out. Jade went after Naya. Naya throws Jade into the steel steps, which splits Jade's head open in a bad way. Jade is still able to finish the match, but the photos after the match show that it was a nasty, nasty cut. The fact that she was able to keep going in the match is quite astonishing. Um, Tiffany Stratton goes for pretty smooth salt ever hits. I believe it is Naya with that. Naya, or no, Jade breaks up the pin. Then Jade is taken out by Tiffany, I believe. And then yeah, and then no, so Jade hits Storm Eye of the Storm, or well, her Eye of the Storm, because the one I always think of is the one James Storms does or did. And so then after that, that is when Tiffany takes out Jade, and that's also when things go awry. Tiffany went for the pin. 1, 2, referee doesn't count the 3, because what it would have looked like is that Jade took out Naya, basically is what happened. Jade took out Naya. Tiffany steals the win, and they didn't go that route. We could see that Jade was up. Now maybe Jade was supposed to break up the pin. Maybe that's what was supposed to happen. I don't know. I don't know. But it was but Naya didn't try and kick out. People are saying, "Oh, Naya doesn't know her spots." It's like, hold on. It seemed like there was confusion between all 4 of those women as to what was supposed to happen. Okay, so I mean, ultimately Tiffany did win with the prettiest moonsault ever. She pulled Naya over to a corner, or to a position where she could hit the prettiest moonsault ever from the corner. Hits it 1, 2, 3. So at Crown Jewel, it will be Tiffany Stratton versus Stephanie Vaquer. One of them will be the next women's Crown Jewel champion. And this main event was, overall, it was good up until the finish, unfortunately, which brings it down to good. I think you could have called it great. You could have called it a great triple threat match between these 3 women, if it wasn't for that finish. But like I said, the finish was most likely due to confusion, miscommunication. Like, even if there is somebody to blame, like, what? Okay, you found someone to blame. What does that change? The match is over. It's already happened. Like, you're not gonna be able to fix anything. It's like, oh, fire this person, fire that. It's like, or you give them a chance to learn from the mistake and or figure out what happened. And I propose this: like, there is the chance, an equal chance, that this was Jade's fault. But at the same time, remember, Jade hit her head a lot harder on the steel steps than she was supposed to. So it would not shock me if, even if she didn't get a concussion from that, that it rattled her brain a little bit. That she may have forgotten the spot at the end, and maybe it did give her a concussion, but she was able to fight through it long enough to finish the match. I don't know. I'm not a medical doctor. But I saw the photo afterwards. And yeah, that was like I definitely I don't know if I would remember what I was supposed to do if I got hit that hard and had that gash. It was a nasty gash. She took it like a champ. Yep, and kept going and was able to. And it's look, it's fit. Look, it's a four-way split as to whose fault it is. Actually, no, three-way because the idiots online saying, "Oh, it's Tiffany's fault." Like, what did Tiffany do? What did Tiffany do? She, as far as we can tell, she hit her spot perfectly. He, either Nia didn't kick out what she was supposed to. Daphne should was supposed to count the three, or Jade was supposed to pull Daphne out of the ring. And I have no idea which it's supposed to be. But what am I gonna do? Blame all three? It's like that doesn't do anything because there's not enough evidence to confirm or even strongly suggest what went wrong. It went wrong. Bad match. Who cares? Or not necessarily a bad match, but a bad ending to a match. Oh well, this happens. And then as for tonight, remember I said there was going to be there might be a tag team match involving Cody, Randy, and the Bronze. Well, guess what? WWE announced earlier today Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton will go to war, they're saying, against Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. They're not saying any kind of special type match, though. Wording. All right, good. Sami Zayn continues his United States Open Challenge. Yeah. I cannot wait for Obafemi or Tony D'Angelo. Yeah, a photo appeared of Tony D'Angelo. When was that? Where was that? It was damn, what was it? I can think it was when did Becky Lynch save Seth Rollins in that fatal four-way for the championship against Knight, Punk, and Jay? Was that Clash in Paris? Maybe that was Clash in Paris. Yeah, I think that was Clash in Paris. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. But with that, it there was a photo that was being passed around online from Tony D'Angelo's Instagram or wherever, and Tony was looking jacked, like he was getting ready to make an appearance somewhere. I'm like, well, everything says he's still under contract with WWE, which likely meant that he is on the road to being called up. Who knows where he's gonna join? One idea that was passed around was that Tony D'Angelo would be the fifth member of Seth Rollins' Vision. I obviously have been thinking Austin Theory, but we'll see. Tony D'Angelo could make an appearance tonight on SmackDown. He could. I'm thinking who else has not been wrestling on SmackDown? So Sami Zayn's already beaten Cena, Phoenix, Mello, and Javon. Maybe someone else from NXT. Maybe. I don't know though. I do not know, and we will. Well, you guys got to tune in to tomorrow night to see. And Tiffany Stratton sets her sights on Crown Jewel and Stephanie Vaquer. Yeah, these two are relatively green. Stephanie has more experience from the indies, so Stephanie will probably be the one leading the match. Because while Tiffany has spent more time in the WWE system, Stephanie has more experience with where just in pro wrestling. So I don't know. I th- I don't think Tiffany should have won. I'm going to say it. I think the winner should have been Naya. I think I think you could have had Naya win and still let Stephanie take the win, making her look great by conquering a giant in the women's division. They decided to go with Tiffany. I don't know if that was the right choice. We'll wait and see. I do think that I've been saying that I do think that her title run, it's cooling down and it is getting to the point where they need to get the title off of her and put it on anybody else. Okay, like it just get the title off her long enough for them to figure out how are they going to get her back to the title, because obviously that's going to be the goal. Well, and who knows what that's going to look like. And it is they're saying Damian Priest is in action, but not saying against who. My guess is that if they are not announcing it as a match against Aleister Black, maybe it's a match against Kit Wilson. Maybe. I can. That would make sense, but I have no idea. With that being said, I guess that is where we can end the show for tonight. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for hanging out. Greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate all you guys hanging out with me, tuning in to my show. I hope you guys have a great Friday, a great weekend, have a great week at work. I will see you guys next week.